Hello, fintech builders and leaders. This is the Guts, Grit, and the Fintech. And this is a show for strong-minded entrepreneurs who are not afraid to transform the financial industry, who are not afraid to take the risk, to get the reward, and to build a brighter financial future. And I'm Vasyl Solashuk from Insart, Fintech Business Accelerator. And our today's guest is Steven Cooley from PRLMNT. Hello, Steven.
Thank you so much for having me. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing really great, and I'm really happy to have you today. And my very first question, so what's your background? What's your story before the parliament?
Well, the story's long, but I'll tell a short version of it. I had some tech startups many moons ago. Then I wanted to get into the money business and ended up at a Blackstone-backed mortgage bank. It was like the fifth largest non-deposit mortgage bank in the country. And then I was laid off, started a consultancy, and then COVID happened. And so I spun up this like marketplace, like Capterra for mortgage tech. And it ended up being like this like lead gen thing for me at the time. And then about 18 months ago, we kind of doubled down on that and spun up mortgage advisor tools in kind of a real way. And then as we have fundraised and whatnot, we noticed that there was a larger problem that we could solve, and there came along Parliament. And so, our goal is to redefine B2B performance metrics, and we are having the time of our life, helping bridge the gap between businesses and technology companies. And so, no, we're at it on. We're working hard to do just that.
Yes, and I really like this moment when you talk to clients and you serve your current clients, but you identify some problem, and this is like an insight. Okay, I can actually fix this for them.
Yes.
So what was your moment when you have identified this idea for Parliament?
Well, we have had some pretty significant stats that in the mortgage space that have really driven our passion to and motivation to move forward. But ultimately, I'll give you one of the stats. It's 90% of mortgage lenders believe that technology is the future, but only 9% are confident in their tech stack. And it gave us the motivation for mortgage advisor tools and making sure that building a marketplace where lenders can find new technology. But as we were raising money and talking to investors earlier on in this year, we got challenged to think bigger. And so we started to reevaluate really what problem we're solving. And we started to study and learn about how all technology companies or technology or financial sector businesses are evaluating which tech to implement into their business. And many of them are, 86% of businesses use reviews to make buying decisions. And 3 out of 5 businesses have buyer's remorse 18 months after they buy technology. And so, where we landed is, the best reviews do not make it the best, best decision. Good reviews do not make it the best decision. And so the way that we're evaluating technology, before we buy it is clearly broken, is fractured. And we want to help businesses, and especially in the financial sectors, understand what technology would be the best for their business, help them buy with more confidence, help them understand how it's going to impact their business overall so that they can be more confident when they're making these decisions and massive investments for their business.
Steven, you actually mentioned something very interesting. So you said that you were actually laid off, and then you started your own consultancy. So why did you decide to actually start your own business at this point of time?
I did it under duress. I work here in Indiana, and I work, Finance of America is headquartered in like Pennsylvania, New York area. And so I didn't realize that my job was a bit unique, and I was going to have to move to find a new opportunity. And I got offered this job, enterprise level job, and the CEO was like, "We'll give you a job, but you probably should just start your own company." And I thought that was a horrible idea. It sounded just like the worst, And he's like, you have some unique skills in the way you think about things and this and that. And he's like, you'll make a ton of money here, but you probably should just start your own company. Um, and I did. It took me about a month to arrive at maybe I should take this. Maybe I should start my own thing, and so I did, I did very well as a consultant, and it was very fruitful. But um, you know, and honestly, we kind of set aside I kind of set aside a very lucrative consultancy to double down on Parliament. We really think that this opportunity is considerably bigger, and that we can affect more change, through this product.
Yeah, and I really admire, like founders who has this courage, to start your own thing, because you actually need to have a lot of courage to take all these risks. And you started the consultancy, but now you're building something bigger, like a
Yes.
platform. Uh, and you're saying that you're serving the mortgage industry, and that this is one of the, like, let's say, traditional legacy industry with a lot of legacy software in place,
Yeah.
and actually a lot of it's a fragmented space.
Yes.
So the software for mortgage, there are a lot of them, and they're fragmented. And yes, the mortgage companies, they can struggle with selecting the best technological stack for them. So can you tell us a little bit more, who would be your ideal customer anyway right now? Because still the mortgage industry is a huge one, but you need to focus on somebody when you're early stage.
Yeah, it's interesting. An investor we were talking to described the mortgage industry as a cottage business sector. I was like, that's a probably a
Okay.
fair assessment of it. And I would say that most financial sector businesses are that. They're these, hyper important small business sectors. The mortgage industry accounts for 16% of the United States GDP. That's how small it is. It's kind of a big deal, actually. But our customer is any technology company or service that serves the mortgage lenders. And then our audience and the folks that we're trying to help on a regular basis are, financial institutions, banks, credit unions, and independent mortgage banks. And so, the way the crossover of that is within any business sector is honestly the equivalent. And if you're in financial advisory company or life insurance or whatnot, I mean, it's going to be, these kind of retail financial businesses that are trying to understand what technology can help optimize and enhance their business. And then the technology companies, fintech companies, prop tech companies, whatever that might be, that are trying to help them optimize those businesses. So, mortgage was a natural place for us to start, and but we are anxiously waiting to move into other sectors and create the same impact.
So as I understand, you're building the platform, and like every platform, it would have like several legs. So from one hand, you have the software vendors. From the other hand, you have mortgage companies, and you're actually doing like this matchmaking between them. So again, to me, all the platforms, they're a little bit more tough business because you need to build several legs.
Yeah.
What is your strategy to build both legs efficiently?
Well, I've been doing digital marketing for a long time. So the marketplace is built on a SEO infrastructure. And when you versus a broad marketplace, when your marketplace specializes in a niche, there's a massive opportunity to become relevant relatively fast. So within really 15 months, we're the fifth largest mortgage media company in the country. And there's some pretty big players in that space that, as far as media is concerned. But that's actually a pretty big deal, And so we're able to we get about 300 new users a day to the marketplace, and that's quite considerable. There's about 5,000 banks in the space, so and so that is the strategy, is to is to launch marketplaces that are extremely relevant with as much information about the technologies and the services that serve any one given sector, and the content and the and that democratization of resources kind of is viewed by Google as hyper relevant, and therefore traffic just naturally starts to show up. Because you start ranking for those companies relatively fast, and then once these tech companies and vendors see that they're being ranked by some new website or whatnot, they of course want to know what you're all about, and so that is just it's just a natural progression of that, and it can happen relatively fast, and so that's been the strategy. Is you want to provide a free and highly informational and resourceful piece of content, if you will, via a website, a marketplace, and you then get to monetize that as the traffic starts to trickle in, and folks you'll find out that they need help. They're starving for information. We all want to understand what resources are going to help us grow our business.
So it looks like you're on track with executing your go-to-market strategy. So can you tell us a little bit more? What's the traction so far in terms of maybe revenue, users?
We have about six. Maybe we're going to end the year with about 70 new sign-up subscribers, vendors that are subscribing to the site to have their profile. We're calling it vendor verified, but basically upgraded. So I think we're going to eclipse $250,000 in revenue, which will surpass our goal. We have pretty audacious goals for really this is our first full fiscal year in business, so that's not too shabby. We believe we can 4x that in the following year, and we're going to roll out software to help lenders understand their technology stack with next year, and we are working pretty hard to raise our seed round so that we can grow into new business sectors and really optimize the data that we'll ultimately aggregate as a result of having these two pieces of technology in place. So I think that we're standing uniquely positioned, not just as a marketplace or a software company. It sounds a little bit cliche to be like, oh, we're a data company, but we're using marketplaces and software to collect a new kind of data so that we can uniquely help businesses understand what technologies they should be investing in, especially in this noisy space, and then throw a little bit of AI disrupting it as well. Now folks are really confused. Like, where should I implement AI? How should I use it? I mean, so it's never been more important to provide them with an insight into these things, and we're going to be able to do that at a pretty unique level that is going to be extremely relevant to them.
So you are raising right now, right?
Oh yeah, big fun.
So is it like seed rounds?
Seed round, time of my life. It's amazing.
So what would be like maybe top 2-3 positive signals for investors why they should actually invest in you right now?
I think we have a really incredible route to profitability. I think that's number one. We also have various ways that we can become successful via media, marketplace, software, data, and AI. So I think that's kind of unique about us. Is our strategic advantage is quite incredible, and the team that's behind it is doing we're doing a great job executing. And also, some of these, reinventing the B2B performance metrics. What we're really talking about is replacing really arcane metrics that folks are using to measure how they do anything. And so the NPS score is a 20-year metric that really doesn't help anybody understand anything about a business. Doesn't understand how they're how a certain business is going to help me solve my problem, or where they've arrived at that data. So I mean, all those metrics are pretty outdated, and it's creating, again, buyer's remorse in mass, which is costing businesses millions of dollars, and just stifling their ability to innovate. There's, I think, 16 to 22 million small businesses in the U.S. And we give companies, or especially certain business sectors, a hard time for not being innovative. But man, I mean, if you saw what they're, how many resources and how they're solicited and I mean, it's really challenging to make those decisions, from medical to transportation to banking to mortgage to whatever. I mean, these businesses that are having a hard time innovating, it's not because they don't want to. It's not. I mean, it's hard to decide where to put your money and where to invest.
Of course, of course. Steven, it's very important for investors also to know who is on your team. So who would you name as a key team members right now?
Blake Boyer is our CMO and a 15 plus year mortgage financial marketing guru, and she has just been absolutely killing it. She is a process marketer, and God, I'm a bit of a scatterbrain idea guy, strategist, but man, her ability to execute and implement process in our company is just bar none. And so we have an incredible foundation, and some great folks that are holding us down. But as a leader, Blake is really, I would hate to do this without her. So,
Steven, what would be your next big move? What is the next largest milestone you would like to achieve?
I mean, we want to close seed round, and we want to enter a new business sector. It'll probably we have some different partnerships that we're looking at that might help us pivot into some new business sectors, but there's some pretty obvious places to go in the financial sector space that makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, we'll definitely be entering a new business sector. We do it kind of quietly because that's how we want to be disruptive, but at the same time, just provide a unique resource to that business sector and show them, what's available in that space. So quite a lot of R&D needs done, but that will be the unique. That's going to be pretty incredible. When we launch our software, that'll also be a pretty big deal. That's when we really get to aggregate some unique data and drive our proprietary B2B performance metric into the marketplace.
So, Steven, thank you very much for sharing all the insights into what you're doing. I will be really excited to, continue keeping an eye on what's going on with Parliament.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for being with us today.
No, man, always, anytime. I love doing these things, and I really, really appreciate your support. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, of course. And for everybody who are watching us today, please like this video, share this video, and subscribe to our channel. And also put your thoughts in the comments below, what you think about Parliament and what you think about this fragmented space of software. And thank you for being with us today. And it was me, Vasyl Solashuk from Insart, and Steven Cooley from Parliament. And let's keep building the brighter financial future together. Thank you, and bye-bye.